everyone. So my name is Chrissy, and I decided to create a screencast for the trade book assignment. So the trade book theme that I chose is the science of art, and I chose the lesson plan that's geared towards kindergarten and grade 2. So the book that was assigned for that lesson is called The Day the Crayons Came Home. It's written by Drew DeWalt and it's illustrated by Oliver Jeffers. And the basic premise of the story is that the crayons go through all of these different challenges, such as being eaten by animals, being um, changed chemically due to heat from the sun, and so forth, and they're eventually able to return home. So, the basic idea of this lesson plan is that students are basically inspired to think about the ways in which crayons can be changed. So, in this lesson, students learn about the properties of crayons and how that by adding heat, crayons can be changed from solid to liquid, like how the story explained that how when the crayons were in the sun, they were melted. And also, this lesson wants students to learn about how crayons are manufactured and the process behind that. And also, this lesson wants students to really learn how to design a process for creating a mixture of color and shaped crayons by using heat to change their chemical composition. And they also write about their experience. So, the general purpose of this lesson, which is called Crayon Science, is that students will learn what crayons are made of, how they can be changed, and how they are manufactured, like I illustrated. The materials that you need are just crayons to be observed, broken, and melted, silicone baking molds or ice cube trays, an oven, and crayons. So, for the engaged portion of this lesson, the teacher basically starts out by hiding a crayon in a mystery bag and basically has students guess what's inside the bag by telling them clues. And once they figure out that it's a crayon, then they or the teacher or teachers would introduce the story of the day the crayons came home and talk about how um, crayons are more important or extraordinary than what students may think of when they think of crayons. During the Explore section of this lesson, students are given a crayon observation sheet where they draw pictures of their crayons, they record observations, and they think what type of ways that crayons can be changed. So they think about, well, is my crayon a solid, a liquid, a gas, or how could it be changed? So having students, for example, break crayons to see how the crayons are different from the original crayon that they were given. During the explain lesson portion, the teacher would show a 64 count box of crayons and then ask questions such as where did this box of crayons come from or how did they get to the store? And the teacher would also show different videos such as a video from Fred Rogers talking about how crayons were made, as well as the life of an American crayon and how it's made crayons, just to show the whole overall idea about how crayons are manufactured. And also the video talks about how crayons are made of wax and pigments, which is important for the next portion of the lesson. So during the elaborate portion, the teacher just wants to illustrate the scientific and reading comprehension that was taught throughout the lesson. So by rereading pages 27 and 28, that talks about a turquoise crayon being melted in the dryer, the teacher can ask different questions to make sure that they fully understand the chemical process that happened during the book. And also the teacher is going to pose kind of a more challenging critical thinking question, such as asking them how they could create a design process to turn their crayons into multicolored crayons of different shapes. So by using a silicone baking tray and having students brainstorm a step-by-step process of how to create these different types of crayons, students can break up pieces and mix different colors in the tray, and the teacher would tell the students that she would take home the tray, heat them in the oven, and give them back to them, and the students would be able to draw and manipulate their new crayons. During the evaluate portion, students are given a postcard template where the teacher wants them to write a postcard that would be to themselves from the crayon that they're given at the beginning of the lesson, and just talking about the chemical processes that happened throughout the lesson. And the teacher would really want students to use words like first and next to show the order of chemical events or changes in the crayons that happened during the lesson, and also would want them to use scientific language such as solid, liquid, and heat. So here are some of the standards connecting the lesson to English language arts, talking about reading comprehension, um, just as well as writing. So those are the standards there. And then for connecting to the next generation science standards, some of the ideas that they did, for example, is plan and conduct an investigation to describe and classify different kinds of materials by their observable properties, which is the main standard that was used in this lesson. So to coincide with that, in the lesson, the students are describing crayons by their observable properties in the crayon observation sheet, and also understanding cause and effect by understanding how crayons can turn from a liquid to a solid again at room temperature and so forth. So that was the lesson that I chose, and I really suggest that this lesson be used to teach science because it also integrates art, and it'd be really fun, especially for kindergarten through second grade. Thank you.